In the previous class we were discussing about settlement of foundation. Okay, so in the settlement of foundation, in the first class we have discussed about different soil profile and other things, and then in the next class we have discussed about the calculation of settlement for shallow foundation, when the basically when the soil under the base of the footing is either uh, cohesionless soil or cohesive soil, whatever it may be. If the elastic settlement is happening, or the immediate settlement calculation, and for that immediate settlement calculation we have seen that this is the formulation, that is immediate settlement is equal to P into D into 1 minus mu square divided by E into I, where I is the influence factor, which can be obtained using Steinbrenner's influence chart, or it can be also obtained using the table given in IS 8009, where you can find out for different part of the footing, either at the center of the footing or at the corner of the footing, or average settlement value, average settlement for average settlement, finding out the average settlement, what will be the value of influence uh, influence factor. Okay, so whatever this immediate calculation uh, is done, or whatever may be the value of this immediate settlement, I have mentioned, if you remember, that it is being considered using the assumption that the footing is resting on the ground. Basically, that means footing is at the ground level. But if you and also there is another one assumption, that the footing is basically a flexible footing. Now, if you see that the footing is not a flexible footing, or in most of the cases you will find that footing will not be resting on the ground, right? So footing will be at some depth. So in such case, what you will have to do, you will have to apply some factor to this settlement value, whatever immediate settlement value you will calculate, considering the footing is resting on the ground, and considering the footing is a flexible footing, you have to multiply this settlement value with some factor. And those factors, there are two factors basically. One is for the correction of the depth of the footing, that is called depth correction factor, and the second one will be the correction for rigidity, or it will be called as rigidity correction factor. So let us now try to understand what are these two factors and how will we be able to calculate these two values using Indian Standard Code 8009. Okay, so if you see, just the other slides we'll discuss later, just I'll explain this first, then I'll again go back to the other slides. See, this is the thing you should remember in 8009. If you see that correction for, see, the correction for depth and rigidity of foundation on total settlement. So basically, if you are calculating the settlement value, then you will have to apply the correction factors for depth and rigidity. Now, what are these two factors? It's very simple to understand. So for first thing, that is the effect of depth of foundation on settlement. So see, the settlement calculation, whatever you have mentioned till now, is applicable for the foundations located on or located at surface level. Surface level means on the ground. So for calculation of settlement founded at certain depth, so if you want to calculate the foundation when it is at some depth, what you will have to do, you will have to apply a correction factor. And what will be that? So the corrected settlement, whatever settlement you are getting from that formula that just previous day we have discussed, to that settlement you will have to multiply a factor called depth factor. Okay, so this is a depth factor. Now how do you get the depth factor? That is the point. Okay, so the depth factor as per 8009 standard code, if you see the depth factor, you should be able to obtain using the figure 12, page number 22 of Indian Standard Code 8009, and that is actually called Fox's depth correction factor. Okay, so I'll explain what is Fox depth correction factor. It is being shown in the next slide. Okay, so let's see. So first let's see what is the depth correction factor then. So you see, this is so if you see this diagram, so you can easily observe that what is Fox's depth correction factor. So you see, this is a chart where in one axis the depth factor is written. Okay, so along the x-axis, if you observe, the depth factors are plotted. Okay, and along the y-axis, if you observe, there is a point over here at the almost at the middle of the chart, that is 1. That value is 1, and if you observe, it is going above to this level. That means when it is going up, you see the values are reducing. There is 0 0.8, 0 0.6, 0 0.4, 0 0.20, and it is also going down in this direction, 0 0.8, 0 0.6, 0 0.4, 0 0.20. And if you observe the upper portion of the y-axis, from this datum, if we consider this one as the datum point, then you see this will be considered using d over root over LB. What is d? D, you see, it is given in this diagram. So what is d? D is nothing but the depth of the footing from the ground level to the base of the footing. Okay, so d is the depth of the footing, and what is b into L? B into L is nothing but the area of the footing. So d root over of LB. So if the value of d root over of LB remains between these values, then you pick up the value from this portion, that means the top portion of the curve. So from this top portion of the curve, you pick up the value for depth factor. On the other hand, if the value, just you see this is nothing but this 1 by d root over of LB. 1 by d root over of LB is nothing but your root over of LB by d. So if you get the value of root over of LB by d between these values, that means between 0 to 1, then you pick up the values from this portion of the curve. So first thing you will have to see, both the things you should calculate, that is d root over of LB. So if you can get the value between of d root over of LB between 0 to 1, then it's fine. You get the values from the upper portion of this diagram. That means upper portion of this diagram means from here, upper portion of the diagram, you get the value. If you are getting the value, if you are not getting d root over of LB between 0 to 1, then what you should do? You should again calculate the value of root over of LB by d. And if you find that the root over of LB by d is remaining between 0 to 1, then you take the value from the lower portion of this chart. Have you understood what is the use of this? Basically, you see the same chart, using the same chart, you should be able to find out the value of depth factor just by reversing the value of d root over of d by root over of LB. That means one portion of the chart, that is the top portion of the chart, from 1 to 0 is giving a relation between d by root over of LB. The bottom portion of the chart will be giving a relation between root over of LB by d and the depth factor. Okay. So when you get the value of d root over of LB or root over of LB by d, let's say you are getting d root over of LB, d by root over of LB value as 0.6. Let's say you are getting 0.6. And what is this? This is nothing but these lines are for the ratios of L by B, exactly the way you have seen in the Steinbrenner's chart also, for a ratio of length to breadth. So if the ratio of length to breadth, let's say it's equal to 1, that means if it is a square footing, let's say if it is a square footing, then, and if you get the value of d root over of LB is equal to 0.6, then you come from this 0.6 value, you go to this curve. So this is actually your 1, L by B is equal to 1 curve, right? That means this is this curve. This curve is actually giving you the value, this curve is actually for a square footing. So if it is a square footing and you get d root over of LB is equal to 0.6, then you come over here, you take the value from here and you just drop a perpendicular to this point, and you see you are going to get the value of depth factor near to 0.8. okay, so it is 0.8, then 0.9, so you can assume this point is actually 0.85. so you see this is 0.5, so this is 0.55, this is 0.6, so it is increasing to the number like 0.01. so every middle portion of this line is basically increased by 0.05. so 0.5, 0.55, then 0.6, 0.65, 0.7, 0.75, 0.8, 0.85, 0.9, 0.95 and 1. So from this diagram you should be able to get the value of what is called depth factor. Now once you get the value of the depth factor, what you will have to do? You will have to just multiply the value of depth factor to the value of the settlement whatever you have calculated earlier, and thus you will be able to find out the settlement of the footing at a particular depth. Is it clear? Is there any doubt for understanding this chart? Any question on this? Everyone has understood?
Yes, sir.
If you have any doubt, you can ask, okay? Otherwise, see, I'll proceed for the next thing. So this is called basically Fox's depth correction factor. You see, Fox's correction curve for settlement of flexible rectangular footing of L into B at depth D. So one thing and one point only you should understand, that is actually your point, that is actually that, just a minute, that you should understand one thing, that this portion of the curve whatever you are taking, this d root over of LB and LB root over of LB by D, this part you should understand. Basically you see this d root over of LB, if you are getting the value of d root over of LB between 0 to 1, then you use the upper values from the upper portion of the curve. If you do not find that whatever is the dimension of your footing and whatever is your depth of footing, according to the original depth of the footing and dimension of the footing, let's say you are not getting this d root over of LB value between 0 to 1. In that case, what you should do? You should find out the value of root over of LB by D. So if you then find that the root over of LB by D value is remaining within a range of 0 to 1, in that case you find out the value of depth factor from the bottom portion of this chart. That means below this one value, you should pick up the value from this bottom portion of the chart. Okay, so from this again I explain one point, that if you get d root over of LB is equal to 0.6, you should get the value from this, and if it is a square footing, you take it from here, you drop a perpendicular from here, so you will get a value of depth factor is equal to 0.881 or 0.82, something like that. However, if you are getting root over of LB by D is equal to 0.6, then you should pick up the value from here. So 0.6, you come over here, this is your square footing, so this is L by B is equal to 1. So come over here and you go up and drop a perpendicular, so you will come over here somewhere at this point, so your depth factor value will be 0.65. okay. Now considering this, what you will have to do, you see, you should go to the previous slide. So in the previous slide, as I have explained you, that what you have to do, the corrected settlement should be depth factor multiplied by computed settlement. So what is this computed settlement? This computed settlement is nothing but considering your footing as a flexible footing and resting on the ground. So the immediate settlement calculation formula, as we have understood earlier, that is SI is equal to P into B into 1 minus mu square by E into I. So that formula, using that formula, whatever will be the computed settlement, that computed settlement should be multiplied with the value of the depth factor. Is it okay? So this is what is your depth factor correction for immediate settlement calculation. Now one thing you should remember that first, you see, the settlement calculation is being done considering the assumption that footing is resting on ground and footing is flexible. So first thing you should apply the depth correction, okay. Then after the depth correction, whatever is the corrected value you will be getting after the depth correction, on that corrected settlement value you should apply the effect of rigidity of foundation. That means rigidity correction factor should be applied after you have corrected the settlement for depth factor, okay. So after you correct the settlement for depth factor, if you see that foundation is a rigid foundation, so what is the kind of rigid foundation? So a rigid foundation is something like that, a heavy kind of beam slab raft, that means very heavy raft if you are giving, or a very heavy pier if you are giving. In such case, it will be considered as a rigid foundation. And if you see that foundation is a rigid foundation, you apply the rigidity factor. Now what is the rigidity factor? The rigidity factor according to Indian Standard Code 8009 is nothing but is the ratio of the total settlement of rigid foundation. So considering the foundation to be a rigid foundation, how much is the total settlement? So you see, this is very important. This total settlement means this corrected settlement you will have to use over here, okay. So first you apply the correction for depth, and then only you apply the correction for rigidity. This you should remember, because you see, if you apply the correction of rigidity first, then you may not be getting the correct value for this Fox's depth correction factor, okay. So first you apply the depth correction factor, then you apply the rigidity correction factor. So the rigidity factor is nothing but the total settlement of rigid foundation, as you see here, divided by the total settlement at center of flexible foundation, okay. So just a minute, okay. So you see, after you apply this depth correction factor, as I was telling, that rigidity of foundation. So rigidity factor is nothing but total settlement of rigid foundation divided by total settlement at the center of flexible foundation. So what is this total settlement at center of the flexible foundation? That we are getting from this depth factor multiplied by computed settlement. So that is actually this corrected settlement. So what is this computed settlement? Computed settlement you are getting from that formula. So at the center of the footing, whatever is the immediate settlement, you multiply it with depth factor, and that is actually your total settlement at the center of flexible foundation. So you see, the if you want to find out, considering the footing, same footing as a rigid footing, then total settlement of the rigid foundation, how can you get it? You multiply this rigidity factor to this total settlement at the center of flexible foundation. So total settlement of rigid foundation is nothing but equal to rigidity factor multiplied by this total settlement at the center of flexible foundation. And what is this total settlement at the center of flexible foundation? It is nothing but this corrected settlement. And if you know the value of this rigidity factor, which is generally as a common practice in Indian Standard Code 8009, it is taken as 0.8. So you just multiply the value of the total settlement at the center of flexible foundation with 0.8, and if you get the value of whatever value you will be getting sorry, that value will be actually giving you the value of the settlement, considering the foundation to be a rigid foundation. So is this clear to everyone? So whatever settlement value you will get at the initial stage using that formula, you must apply first depth correction factor. And how do you get the depth correction factor? You use Fox's depth correction chart, and to that corrected settlement value you apply, if the footing is rigid footing, only in that case you should apply rigidity factor. So if the footing is a rigid footing, whatever is the corrected settlement value you get, approximately 80% value will be the settlement of that footing. That means if you see that the settlement under a flexible footing will be more than the rigid footing. By how much? The settlement of rigid footing will be actually 80%, approximately 80% of a flexible footing, than a flexible footing. Okay. So if you have any doubt at this point, you can ask me, because this is the basic discussion, and whatever detailed discussion actually you see we have done for settlement analysis for immediate settlement. Okay. So any doubt, any question? No question. So Saurabh Chaudhary is there? Saurabh? Hello? Saurabh Chaudhary. Saurabh Chaudhary, are you listening, or you are just opening the mobile and went somewhere else? Saurabh Chaudhary. Subodip Sadhu Khan is there?
Yes, sir.
Saurabh Chaudhary is not there. Looks to be.
Sir, don't know.
So have you understood what is actually immediate settlement calculation?
Yes, sir.
So what is influence factor? Tell me. Bolo, what is influence factor? Subodip? Subodip, Sadhu Khan. See, can you hear me, or you cannot hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Here.
So, I don't know why when I am calling by name, what is the problem in responding? Shubham Dasgupta is there? Shubham Dasgupta?
Yes, sir.
Acha, bolo to what is influence factor? Till now I have discussed influence factor. What is influence factor? Vivek Kumar is there? Vivek Kumar? Roll
Yes,
number
sir.
48. Vivek, can you explain what is influence factor?
Sir.
Bolo? See, that is the problem. I think none of you, very few of you are attending classes attentively. Otherwise, either you are at road or you have gone to market, just keeping your mobile inside the pocket and just attending the class. That's all. Because if I am asking, then no one is responding. Somnath Chatterjee is there, roll number 55. Somnath Chatterjee is on the call. Somnath Chatterjee. Somnath Chatterjee is there on the call. Utkarsh Kumar is there.
Yes, sir.
So Utkarsh, tell me what is influence factor? Explain.
Sir, ratio of L by B.
Ratio of L by B is influence factor. That's what I have explained till now.
No, sir. On y-axis, we should represent L by B of the foundation. On x-axis,
Influence factor is what? Influence factor is a factor which you required for calculation of immediate settlement. That is the first thing. And it will depend
yes,
on L by B ratio of the footing. Right?
yes, sir.
And it will only depend
Yes,
on L by B ratio. It will not depend on anything other than L by B. It will not depend on anything else.
yes, sir. On thickness,
Yes. Bolo? It will depend also on the
thickness.
thickness of the profile of clay, right?
Yes, yes,
Or
sir.
profile of the stratum. That's what. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Suraj Anand is there. Suraj Anand. रोल नंबर 48 सूरज आनंद.
यस सर.
सूरज बोलो तो ये फॉर्मूला क्या है इमीडिएट सेटलमेंट का अभी जो डिस्कस किया. व्हाट इज म्यू इन द फॉर्मूला?
Sir, mu sir Poisson ratio
Poisson ratio. What will be the value of mu for
0.5 some
0.5
0.5 sir.
for clay soil, right? And for sandy soil it will be little lesser than that. Absolutely correct. Good. Good. Shubham Dasgupta. Suraj, you can switch off your speaker. Shubham Dasgupta. Shubham Dasgupta. See, I don't know. I am not able to understand whether you are listening or not listening. That is the problem. Somnath Chatterjee is on the call or not? Roll number 55. Somnath Chatterjee. Let me take down the names because roll number 55. Roll number 51. Shubham Dasgupta, are you there? 52. Subhodip Chatterjee. 52 Subhadeep Chatterjee is there?
Yes, sir.
Subhadeep, don't switch off your microphone, okay?
Okay, sir.
You make your video on. Come on. You make your video on. What happened? Subhadeep Chatterjee, roll number 52. Make your video on. What happened? Somnath Chatterjee, are you in the call or not? Shubham Sharma is there. Shubham Sharma, roll number 56.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please switch on your video.
Yes.
So where are you standing at this stage? Where are you? Are you inside your
Sir,
home or are you inside your
Yes, sir.
home? Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So are you understanding what is actually we are talking about? This immediate settlement and anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Getting okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Subhadeep Sadhu Khan, are you there? Subhadeep Sadhu Khan,
Yes, sir.
so switch on your video.
Okay.
So are you understanding what we are talking about?
Yes, sir.
Is clear? Influence factor, depth correction factor, Fox's depth correction factor, everything is clear?
স্যার এখন যেগুলো পড়লেন ওগুলো বুঝতে পেরেছি
Okay, ঠিক আছে. Close it. Ritu Raj, roll number 62.
Yes, sir.
Where are you? Are you at
Sir,
home?
in home, sir.
Home. So
Yes, sir.
are you getting whatever we are talking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. Okay, switch off. Amit Kumar, roll number 15. Switch on your video. Where are you? Are you at home or sitting at somewhere else? Amit Kumar. So you please switch on your this one microphone. Microphone on karo. So are you understanding? Not audible. Okay, switch off. Anik Maharatna.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand what we are talking about?
Sir, settlement, sir, initial settlement and final settlement. I am some doubt and I asking
if you
for
have doubt,
in
then
the
you should
class.
ask, right? You should ask what is your doubt. Immediate settlement, step by step we have explained what is immediate settlement, right? That is how to calculate immediate settlement. And for consolidation settlement, previously we have explained multiple classes we have taken for consolidation settlement calculation. So you should first go through the details of it, right? So you tell me what is the formula of immediate settlement? Till now we have discussed formula of immediate settlement. P into B,
L by
L by B. See, do you have anything, any copy or any pen, paper, pencil, calculator in front of you?
yes, sir.
So you should write it, right? Whatever is being discussed in the class, you should write it. Otherwise, how do you remember the things? Also, I am sending all the handouts. So it is totally ineffective. It seems totally ineffective. Means we are just shouting from this end, and no one is listening properly. That is what I could find out. Because many people are, I could find out that many students are not there at the call also. Anik, you may please switch off. Okay, you can
Okay,
just
sir.
stop. Okay.
Thank you,
Anindya
sir.
Ghosh is there. Anindya Ghosh. Anindya Ghosh.
Yes, sir.
So are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So you switch on your video. So is it? Are you able to understand whatever we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what is the formula of immediate settlement?
Sir.
See, that is what I could understand, that no one is listening to the lectures properly, and no one is basically taking, and this is, I think, happening to every class. See, only merely coming and joining the class and just switch off, Anindo, please switch off your speaker. See, only merely coming to the class and just switching on your mobile or any device doesn't help anything. It's not happening. It's not helping anyone. That is what is happening, I see. Because many of you are not there at the call. I cannot see that this fellow Somnath Chatterjee. Where is Somnath Chatterjee? Somnath Chatterjee, are you able to listen me? Shubham Dasgupta, are you still there in the call or you are not there? Shubham Dasgupta? Shubham Dasgupta is there or not? Sumit Sagar, are you there? Sumit Sagar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kalyan Vissas is there? Kalyan Vissas? Roll number 09?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sauradip? Sauradip is
Yes,
there?
sir.
So are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Sauradip? Whatever
Yes,
we are
sir.
discussing, are you able to understand? See, you should all should sit with a pen, paper, calculator, okay? Otherwise, how do you understand? Tomorrow I will discuss a problem, then I think that's what is happening. Means you are not listening to the lecture properly, as well as just keeping the microphone on your ear and just doing something else. Sauradev, you tell me what is the formula for immediate settlement calculation? Sauradev, tell me.
Sir, tell again.
Bolo?
Sir, repeat the question again.
What is the formula for immediate settlement calculation? Today we are discussing, yesterday in the previous class also we have discussed. See, you are getting mum. See, it is multiple time I have told this formula, P into B multiplied by 1 minus mu square divided by E into I. Right?
Yes, sir.
You should remember these things. You should, at least you should go through once. All the handouts are being shared. Now there will be exam of CA1. So how do you answer the questions? And this time we are going to change totally the exam pattern, okay? It's not going to be, I tell you, it's not going to be something like Excel sheet will be going and you will be discussing for a whole day and all you will be getting correct answers and all. Only you will be given half an hour time, 35 minutes, 40 minutes time. Within that you will have to do your answer and you will have to submit your answer. And any time in between the test we will be telling you to switch on your video and show what you are doing actually. If you are not able to show it, we will not give you any marks in the CA. That's what we have decided. Because you are not at all attentively listening to the classes. That's what I feel. Somnath Haldar is there? Somnath Haldar?
Yes, sir.
So are you able to understand whatever we are discussing?
So, this, yes, sir.
Switch on your video. Let me see what are you doing. Do you have any copy in your hand or not? Let me see. Switch on.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
So are you
Yes, sir,
able
yes,
to
sir.
understand? Are you able to
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tanmoy Mondal, 44 roll
Yes,
number.
sir.
So Tanmoy, are you able to understand whatever we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
सब लोग यस सर बोल रहा है, लेकिन जब भी क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है तब बोल रहा है नो सर, ऐसे हो जा रहा है. तन्मय बोलो तो, टुडे व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस टुडे.
Sir.
What we have discussed today in today's class, 20-25 minutes I have discussed. After that I have started asking you questions. So what are the things we have discussed today? No answer. That means you are not listening to the class. That is what I can understand, and that is what I can find out. Can anyone tell what we are discussing in today's class?
Immediate settlement.
Yes, sir.
Immediate settlement, only immediate settlement.
Corrected settlement rigidity factor.
Rigidity factor, yes. Rigidity factor we have discussed, and
Corrected settlement.
Depth factor. You say depth factor, right? Depth factor we have discussed.
Yes, sir.
So what is the chart we have discussed about for depth factor calculation? What is the name of the chart?
Fox correction chart, something.
Fox correction chart. Yes, Fox correction chart.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely correct. Okay. So you see, I think, see, many of you are not attending the classes very attentively. See, I request all of you, and it's my advice that each and every class you please attend with your pen, paper, copy, and you during the class you please be glued to the screen. Otherwise, how do you understand? It's going to be online. It is going to be online only, maybe in this semester also. And you see, if you do not listen to the class, and if you do not understand things, and if you think that you are becoming a 9-pointer, I say that is absolutely rubbish actually. Because getting marks will not help you. You will have to learn things, and you are learning very, very basic and important subjects during this semester. So if you do not listen properly, if you do not practice properly, how do you understand things? So I think it's not happening properly. So I advise all of you, I request all of you, please be there at your home during the class. Don't go roam around. See, till now I could not find out this guy, this one, roll number 55, Somnath Chatterjee. Somnath Chatterjee, are you there or not? Still I could not understand this fellow, this Shubham something, 551, Shubham Dasgupta or something. I think he has left the meeting now. Okay. So if if I'm calling by name, that at that time also people are not there, and I could see that many of you are not in a mood to attend class. Only just for attending classes you are just attending, that's all. Please consider this as your regular classes and please attend. See, I don't think it is too much. See, in school also it is happening like this only. School students are also attending classes like this. So it was like that. It should be actually your Google form, Google Meet, and it should not be using this PDF, this thing and all. So it is now almost one-to-one interaction, full 1 hour time is being devoted. Still I see that when I solve a problem, when I give you a problem, when I discuss something, when I ask you multiple times, do you understand what is happening, what I have explained, no answer comes. So at that time only I had doubt that you are not listening properly. Otherwise at least 2, 3, 4, 5 voices will come immediately. Yes sir, I understand. Yes sir, I understand. No sir, I couldn't understand this. Very few cases, very rarely I find this kind of answers are coming. The reason I could find out today, when I ask you questions, each and every one, then I see half of you are not in a proper mood to listen class. Either you are sitting somewhere, or you may not be in front of your phone at all. So that's what I could find. Someone is roaming somewhere and sounds is coming. That means he is not at home. He is outside. So if this is the way, if your seriousness is, then I don't know how do you improve yourself. See, we as teacher, we can only improve you by our teaching. That's all. But if you are not listening at this pandemic situation, everyone should understand that you will have to go with this one. Your valuable time as well as your semester is being spent like this. If you do not understand the concepts at this stage, then you will be never able to understand. So I request all of you, okay, please be serious in attending online classes. Okay. Very soon there will be CA1 exam, and CA1 is not going to be like the previous year, whatever we have taken, that one Excel sheet will go and you will answer it for whole day, discuss with your friends, and everyone will give same answer. That is not going to happen this time. Okay, I think I should stop here today. I will take the attendance, but I don't know what is the meaning of taking this kind of attendance. Useless things are becoming, that's all. Okay, today I have another one class, right? Utkarsh, are you there on the call?
Yes, sir.
Utkarsh, today I have another one class, right? From 1:45, right?
Yes.
So that class will start at 2 o'clock, okay? Not at 1:45, 2 o'clock. I have a meeting from 1 to 2. Okay, so 2 o'clock will start. For next half an hour, 35 minutes, 45 minutes I will take the class. So if I am little bit late after 2 also, you please be there on the call. I will come and join the call, okay? And I request all of you, just please go through the things I have discussed, okay? And then in the coming class, in the next class, I will discuss another one test, actually, that is called standard penetration test, okay? And how to find out the values from standard penetration test, settlement values from standard penetration test, that we will discuss in the next class, okay? So we'll start at 2 to 5, only 40 minutes class I will take, but please be there on the call and please be serious, okay? So don't be like this, okay? Thank you.